Good to know that you are still there. It's still the Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM here in the city of Abeokuta Citizens Forum this morning. Dele Ayodo remains my name.
And I am Aghemerio Oaikhenan.
All right, yes, events in the southern African country, Zimbabwe, formerly called Rhodesia, actually the final lap for the journey being the president of that country for Robert Mugabe began about exactly last week, Monday, when the chief of defense told the president that they may be forced to intervene in the political crisis if he did not do anything to get Grace Mugabe out of the scene. Well, true to his words, the next day, within 24 hours, the military rolled their tanks into town, seized the government house, and placed Mugabe and his family under house arrest. Well, this dominated Friday's open day. A lot of people wanted to know, they want us to discuss it and all sorts. And I know that I said on that occasion that I did not see it as a military coup, but rather a military intervention. Well, I also mentioned that the military itself have been a strong part of the politics of Zimbabwe and the administration of Zimbabwe. Remember, unlike so many all the West African countries, the South African countries did not get their independence on the platter of gold like we did. They fought for it. And in Zimbabwe, everybody who participated in that liberation war are regarded as veterans and political leaders. And since then, they've been the ones in control of almost everything in Zimbabwe. In actual fact, the war, which actually began in 1963, at that time, that was when ZANU, then the Zimbabwe Africans National Union, was formed. Well, events move on. In March, we have ZAPO. That's another political group at that time, Zimbabwe African Political Organization. And then we have the one they call the Patriotic Front. All these three groups merged together after, well, when the big war actually began in 1975. Robert Mugabe was the secretary of that union. And in 1980, after independence, it became ZANU-PF. That's Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front. And after election at independence in 1980, Mugabe, who was the leader of the ZANU-PF at that time, became the prime minister initially, and the leader of, I think, ZAPO, Joshua Nkono, became the vice president as at independence. Well, they move on. Things were actually going on, and Zimbabwe and Mugabe did not begin to have it rough until the early 90s, when eventually Mugabe fell out with the then colonial superpowers. I should also mention that ZANU, that's Zimbabwe's group, were heavily backed during the war by China. ZAPO were heavily backed by Russia during the war, and the People's Patriotic Front by Portuguese army. So you will know that there has always been an external involvement in the politics of Zimbabwe. This is one thing I want my listeners to note. Those are areas where, yes, the external factor have always been there. 1980s, Zimbabwe was going on economically until 1998 or thereabout. Yes, thereabout, when elections became sour. People were getting fed up. They believed Mugabe was maneuvering election results. The MDC in particular, that the movement for the democratic change, were fiercely contesting results of election. At a point in time, I think it was 2002, they felt, they thought they won that election, and their candidate there, Morgan Tsvangirai, should have been the president of Zimbabwe. Well, it went on and on and on. Zimbabwe became notorious. Mugabe became notorious and became an outcast to so many international groups, including the EU and the United States of America. It became an outclass. In actual fact, there is a travel ban on Mugabe and his entire family to both EU and United States. And there was this occasion, I think, in Holland, where there was a conference, the United Nations Conference, where an order for arrest was issued on Mugabe anyway. That somebody attempted to do that. The person forgot that Mugabe is not a European, he's an African. And he got a bloody nose for attempting to do a civilian arrest of an African president. But likely, Mugabe and Zimbabwe remain supported by all the Southern African countries, South Africa, Mozambique, and the rest. They were fully behind Robert Mugabe. Remember, I told you that all these countries did not have independence easy. It came via the barrels of gun. And Nigeria was fully involved, really. We're supplying not just cash, we're supplying military men, soldiers, and ammunition to these Southern African countries for the apartheid struggle. That's point number two. You should know that Nigeria was involved and always been involved in growth and development politics of the Southern African countries. Well, there's somebody called Joyce Monowasa who was the vice president that succeeded Joshua Nkomo. Things began to fall apart between her and the then or the former first lady of Zimbabwe, Grace Mugabe, who was until 1996 when she married the president, was the typist in the presidential law. She became a mistress of Mr. President and eventually became the wife after the death of the first wife of Mugabe in 1998. Yes, 1998, and fully became the wife. They were already dating. And actual fact, the story is that she already had 2 kids for the president before they got married. So she maneuvered her way through things and ensured that not just Joyce, the then vice president that was sent out, another war veteran, maybe that was when and how she took a dose that was too much for her to swallow when she schemed and ensured that the then vice president, who eventually within the next hours may become the president of Zimbabwe, Emerson Mnangagwa, was also schemed. The man they nicknamed Crocodile in Zimbabwe was also schemed out of government. Well, Grace was fully involved. She accused the then vice president of attempting to kill the president and usurping power. Of course, we can see pictures of the president so many times sleeping on public functions. Age, you can't blame him at 93. There's little you can do to resist some physical and health issues when it comes to that. Aghemerio is an expert in elders watch. He will tell us what that means at 93. That definitely there are some health issues you cannot fight. Maybe that was what she explored and got into government house. To 2014, she formed a group known as the G40 or Group of 40 and became the leader of the Women's League. That was the first time of the ZANU PF. Gradually, she was working herself into government, and the war veterans saw this and began to oppose it. Well, when Mnangagwa was sent out, it was rumored that she's been tipped to take over. Maybe she would have succeeded in becoming the president, but those who fought the war, that esprit de corps remains with them, and they want the president not to do so. He did not listen, and eventually, at about 5 p.m. yesterday, proceedings were already on at National Assembly to actually impeach him, and they would have done that, but eventually he agreed to step down after 37 years. History tells us that in Africa, Mugabe is actually not the longest person to have served in Africa. The longest person, history says, is the man from Ethiopia, popular to my generation. Is called Emperor Haile Selassie, the longest man to rule in Africa. 44 years he ruled Ethiopia, and he was followed by the man they called Omar Bongo of Gabon. Yes, Omar Bongo of Gabon ruled for 42 years, and another very popular African leader took the third position. Yes, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, having ruled for 41 years. Mugabe is not the only person in ruling for 30. There are so many of them. And I'm sure Aghemerio have some of those names of some African leaders who have enjoyed longevity in administration.
All right, going through some of these leaders, we are having Teodoro Obiang of Equatorial Guinea, who has ruled for 38 years, and Jose Eduardo dos Santos of Angola, 38 years too. And we have Paul Biya, Cameroon, 35 years, and Yoweri Museveni, Uganda, 31 years, Omar al-Bashir, Sudan, 28 years, Idris Deby, Chad, 27 years, and Isaiah Afwerki, Eritrea, 26 years. Yaya Jammeh, the Gambia, 23 years, and
Yahya
then
Jammeh is now gone, but he ruled for
for
23
23
years.
years, yes. And then we have Dani Sassou Nguesso of Republic of Congo, who has ruled for 33 years.
Of course, we also...
Alarming,
Yes.
sincerely, because if you're talking about 30-something, 20-something years, it's truly alarming. But we know in the course of your introduction, you said something about Grace Mugabe. You said former
Yes, she's
first
now the
lady.
former
Yeah,
first lady.
it's amazing because when you just look at the turn of events, it cannot but strike your heart. Just two few days ago, just yesterday, she could still be referred to as the first lady of this great country called Zimbabwe. But today, former. Well, I'm not going to concentrate on it actually, but it's so striking actually. And then looking at Robert Mugabe himself, he's actually his administration could be regarded as autocratic rule because at a point in time, some actually felt that he missed it. He fought the battle. He was there for the country. He stood his ground, trying to make sure that everything worked well in Zimbabwe. But at a point in time, some are of the opinion that he missed it.
Yes,
He
I mean,
truly
the
missed it.
truth, Aghemerio, is that there's no way you can rule for that length of period without being despotic, without being autocratic. So that's one instrument you use effectively. But there's some other countries, really. For instance, in Togo, Togo, who is gradually turning to a dynasty, the crisis is on there. The people appear to be fed up. It's been ruled by a single family since 1963 when it got independent, the Ayademas. They've been the one who ruled Congo. Well, to some people, for instance, the case of Mugabe, in which we are looking at, if Grace was not in the picture, the people of Zimbabwe, or many of the people in Zimbabwe, would have tolerated Robert.
Truly, because some were just hoping, okay, 93 years, maybe
He's
7 more
already at the,
years,
he's already
maybe
at
it's
the
15
launch.
years at a point in time. But now let's also look at his resignation, because according to the letter, Mugabe says that he resigned voluntarily. But how voluntary is that resignation?
He was actually forced to do so. All those ones are just diplomatic and political. After staying for about a week under house arrest, his decisions were restricted. So he actually have no choice.
And the wife who had to be the backbone is not where to be found even now.
She was separated. Though they are still in Zimbabwe, and that has been confirmed yesterday. In fact, there is huge jubilation at where they call African Union Square in Zimbabwe for many Zimbabweans. Well, you can imagine there are so many Zimbabweans who never know anybody as their president other than Robert. Even how to adjust to that life could be another psychological issue to fight. So we are looking at those lessons that pointed out from you, from that analysis of events in Zimbabwe, and like you've also demanded on Friday, I said that this Zimbabwe issue must be discussed. We are here this morning, just you and I, or we and you, looking at the Zimbabwe end of the road for one of Africa's longest serving despots. They may want to say that so many of them who are battling. Cameroon, the crisis is on fiercely. In fact, they cry for breakaway with the English-speaking part.
Can this be a signal to other African countries where we have the president, who have been in power for so many years? Can this be a tough signal to them?
Of course it is, but somehow these leaders do not see that as having anything to do with their own community, because how and why did they decide to stay that long is an issue with all. At a point in time, the Zimbabwe pound was regarded as a toilet roll. Nobody really wants to trade in it. They had nothing, and yet you stuck to power and insisted that it was going to be you and you. And you. Interestingly, in Zimbabwe, they have never failed to hold an election. They have never, every 4 years, there will be an election. Every 5 years, there will be a Congress of the ZANU-PF, the ruling party. But how that has been maneuvered to favor one person, eventually turning into one
Possibly
family.
he was in favor of the people. You know, it's possible
Well,
they just love him,
but
especially.
today, so many of the people are jubilating to see his exit. If you look at the pictures at the African Union Square in Zimbabwe, in Harare, there, you see even in the other main city, Bulawayo, you see people jubilating that at last the man is gone. In reality, if you want to look at it, like I said, pictures where, do you think he was still in control at the time of the, because public pictures you see him dozing, sleeping, but there was an occasion he will stop for almost 5 second pause for people to remember the next statement
There was even
he
a
want to
time he
say.
fell at a
So many
function.
times. No, that's not just one. That's one, two, three, 4 times like that, where he will be just wheeled away from the spot. Well, and I think those are signals, natural signals that the end is coming. But why would they continue to refuse to yield to that signal is what we will be looking at and other issues this morning.
I will also be leaving the lines open for you now so that we can get to have your opinion or your take on this. I definitely would have been following the order of events in Zimbabwe. We are all Africans. Whatever affects Zimbabwe affects us even up here on this side of the continent. And definitely, you've also got a take or an opinion on what has been happening in Zimbabwe and even the turn of events. So let's leave the lines open. You have the short code, the 32120 to also drop your comments or your thought. Just type rock ROCK, leave a space. Let's have your thoughts typed, include your name, send it to 32120. You can also tweet at Rock City FM or you use the Facebook fan page Rock City 101.9 FM and take in call 0809 868 7344 or 0909 146 9670. You can call either lines. Hello.
Morning, Dele.
Morning.
My name is Dr. Uncom. Oh, what a fall. I'm calling from Ashiro history. History, unfortunately, will be unkind to Mugabe, but that is the wrong side of history. That is why history is not, we should not rely too much on history. It's okay, Mugabe fell, but we forget that Mugabe belongs to the Nelson Mandelas, the Sam Jomas of Swapo, Southwest, yes. Even people like Oliver Tambo, Joshua Nkomo, who happened to they used to call him my name because my name is Income. So if he had O, he becomes Komo. They used to call me Nkomo then when I was in the medical school. These were people who fought for the liberation, proper liberation, not the type of thing we had here. And some of them somehow went out of syntax. I think it's still a study in history. Historians will now tell us what happened. Look at someone like Alan Bosa. He's in prison now for embezzlement, World Council of Churches. People like Oliver Tambo is dead, Desibale is dead, Joshua Nkomo died, very, very fat man during the struggle. And people claim that Mugabe was instrumental to his death. Mugabe made a tactical mistake by sending away the white farmers. He should have known that those white farmers, although they are white, they had no other country they knew. The only country they knew, many generations, were Zimbabweans. But in an attempt to satisfy the core blacks, he ruined his economy in an attempt to sustain it. But then, Zimbabwe should have been been kind to him, but for his wife. When the wife came into this thing, you find out that the thing changed the equation. People got angry, as Riley said, Dele. If you look at these demonstrations, this freedom, they are young, very young people who never knew what colonization means. So their own is hip-hop type of thing. The older people I did more this thing in jubilation. And notice what in Dele, in all those demonstrations, Bulawayo, Harare and what have you, they never abused Mugabe. They didn't call him a thief. They said, let the old man go. We like you, we love you, please go. Nobody has insulted him. I've watched all the channels to check where there is. They still love him. but he overplayed because he allowed his wife. People are saying, is it women again coming inside? I don't want to talk on that, oh, women power. Yes, it may have been, but he missed the point by not doing like Mandela did. Mandela went away, and then he should have gone now to be the grand old man. Perhaps he's the only one remaining now. I'm talking of people in South Africa, I'm not talking of this. Who remain after that struggle? And it's a pity. Chiefs is good to be unkind to Mugabe. Thank you very much.
In fact, that's the point really, from Dr. Nkon. Mugabe will remain an icon for the apartheid struggle. He's in the same class with Nelson Mandela, like I said, Julius Nyerere, was the Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, and all those sort. Kenneth Kaunda is in the lives of those of us. Somehow he fell on the wrong side of history. That's very correct from Dr. Nkon. Really, nobody has accused him beside that mistake of not grooming somebody or identify with somebody among the veterans that will succeed him. I said that earlier on. If Grace did not come into the picture, they would have allowed Mugabe to die on the throne, to die as the president, and nothing will have happened. So maybe a lesson, big one for us to learn from grace to grass. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is the voice of Oaikhenan. Whether it was a coup d'etat.
Please, can you
You have a radio too close to you, sir.
Okay, I've moved away from the radio, please. Whether it was a coup d'etat or intervention, Mugabe is gone and gone for good. You see, I don't know why Africans are behaving the way we are behaving. You see, look at Nelson Mandela, for instance. We sent just a term and left that place after he has served in prison for 27 years. I don't know. If your regime is eventful and people now consider you to be a hero, why don't you leave when the ovation is loudest? I don't know. But Mugabe, as far as I'm concerned, he will be remembered in history, for two purposes. At least he led the people out of slavery, to independence. That is very important. Though it was not a sole effort. There were so many other people like Joshua Nkomo and the rest that did it. And now, I think Zimbabwe should come under a very good leadership. They will now rebuild. According to what we are hearing, the economy is very poor. And people are crying. You see, people are lamenting. So now that we are likely to have another government now, I think that government should consider two things. That when you stay too long in power, then there's possibility that you become a tyrant or despot, like Dele you rightly pointed out. So that is one. Then the other one is good governance, like we have been saying. Then you should be able to carry your people along. Once you do that, you will be accepted and people will love you. But you should not be too long there. Okay. Look at all those African leaders you have made reference to. You see, some 41, 40 whatever. It's uncalled for, and it is absolutely nonsense. I consider that to be nonsense. Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Good morning.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, morning.
Yeah, my name is Mustafa Nese from Agbado.
Thank you, sir.
See, what we learned from the case of Mugabe is so interesting. The Zimbabwe culture of respect, including the military and the entire society, because the way they handle the case is very, very in a respected manner. They demonstrate respect for one another. And we need to make the military formidable to the civilian because of the confessional problem, the Western world problem, that they see the whole politician with corporate disease, where they supposed to cooperate. To cooperate. You see, we need to cooperate with their skill, with their counterpart in the multinational space when they engage in cooperation. It's called engaging in a lot of enslavement. They try his best, but supposedly he is a great patriot, and we will continue to respect him and recognize him in the issue of this world.
All right, thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I am Mr. Oaikhenan.
Thank you, sir.
You see, I congratulate the Zimbabwe for smoothly easing out Mugabe. Because if he had not been easily removed, in fact, there would have been problem. There would have been riot in Zimbabwe. You see, the point is that if it were in Nigeria, this happened. Military opportunity in Nigeria would have used it as a way to overstay in office and thereby deteriorate the situation. But where I have problem is the way the vice has been brought in. Is it constitutional? The way it has been brought in? That is the question, because in my own view, I think that vice would have come in as acting president and later conduct elections to ensure that.
I'm not sure. I don't know what the Zimbabwe constitution is saying, but the general rule is that once the president leaves, the vice takes over. That's the general rule. So he doesn't conduct any.
It cannot be acting.
No, he cannot. He does not. It's automatic. It's a joint ticket, you know. So that's everywhere in the world.
As time goes on, I don't know how the Zimbabwean would really tolerate him, but I wish him good luck anyway. Thank you.
One thing that is sure of the man Emerson, that he will enjoy the support of the war veterans, who are very key in determining things in Zimbabwe, because he's also one of them. He's a war veteran. Well, just like you said, Aghemerio, that's interesting. Within 1 week, that I think I've been vindicated when I said it wasn't a coup. By tomorrow latest, we've been told that Emerson will be sworn in as the president. The military will again go back to the barracks under 1 week, which is another thing that actually never happened before in Africa. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, my sister. I'm Coyote from Abeokuta. Good morning.
Thank you, sir.
Zimbabwe, the rise and fall of Mugabe. Robert, you see, in history we've learned about the Aghemerio's fall. Now this is another fall. I hope there will not be any other one if people are upright. I mean, our leaders are upright, and then they listen to criticism, and then.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
If probably our leaders could learn from this kind of thing that is happening now, and then they begin to become leaders that are probably going to be.
All right. Africa actually had a lot of such history where many of these leaders will, I think by their own making, Aghemerio, fall from grace to grace. There are so many. Remember the raid, the one they call the raid at Entebbe, when Idi Amin Dada, even the man who came after, the man he drove at, Milton Obote, all these are in Uganda. Not too long ago, Yaya Jammeh wanted to square off with the team of West African soldiers after an election he has lost. He's still there. You should not forget so early Laurent Gbagbo and events in Cote d'Ivoire. These are all there. Of course, the Muammar Gaddafi, or people will say it's a conspiracy of the West, and the consequences are still there with us in Libya after the exit of Muammar Gaddafi. There are so many of them. Laurent Kabila of the DRC, yes, and he is there. No, that's the father of Joseph, the incumbent, and Joseph is also facing the similar thing as we speak in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. So there are so many of them in Africa. We were just, can I say, lucky in Nigeria. Abacha was almost going toward the direction, and some people would also say Babangida was also going toward that direction. But somehow, in our own usual style, we were able to get them out, those two people. So it's in Africa. It's in Africa. It's interesting. Yes, except Southern Africa. That's where you had this relative political stability. All the Southern African countries, Mozambique, Namibia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, have always relatively had political peace. That's why people have said when the military intervention in Zimbabwe, if it happens elsewhere, it may not be this easy for things to fall in place. Let's take your call.
Hello.
You have the radio too close to you, sir.
I've removed it already.
Thank you.
Aghemerio, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Peter. There is one open there, Mr. Dele. There's a man he never called. Indian Army of Uganda.
I think that's the one we refer to as the raid of Entebbe in 1970, 78, 77.
Yeah, let me tell you one thing is this. Those people, they are just like those people. Now, I don't know why this kind of a thing happen much in Africa. In Africa, I always want somebody that will want to die at that throne. We are talking about what's happening today. That is the Judas of Africa. You could have fight and just go and remember for good. We are talking about Nelson Mandela today. I love to call my son Nelson Mandela. But I will never say Mugabe for anywhere. Let's start listening. Did he enjoy it? He overstayed welcome. They show him way out. I'm telling you, Zimbabwe is the fact they are in a new. Their morning have arrived. We have to greet them good morning. They have been sleeping for long. I want Nigeria to learn. Somebody that is been in a seat whereby it doesn't suit, you only want people to must be there to accept what he's doing. May God help Nigeria. And may God bless Nigeria. We are not among those people that someone will be in so many years. Some people that used to be fit Marshal and co. Have a nice day.
Emeka, let me tell you, you said you will never name your Mugabe. This is latest report, the last 24 hours. Maybe lending credence to what Dr. Nkon said, that so many Zimbabweans, young ones and everyone, the Aghemerio, that are changing their name and naming their children Mugabe and Robert. Yes, you can check that out. So, the man, like Nkon said, may not be that bad in their minds. Yes, so many of them are changing their names and naming their children Mugabe, some Robert. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Olanima Sawin is the name calling from Ayodo.
Thank you.
For all the analysis. From all indication, Mugabe's case is a false one. Yet an angle we are practically trying to avoid, even though we are taking it to avoid offending the women folk. I have utter respect.
You are very correct. I, as an individual, am only trying to avoid it because of the person at the other side. And those who are listening.
I can understand that women folk. Mugabe brought this upon himself. I said it is first one. But the grace factor actually destroyed that, or he allowed himself because of his I don't know what kind of grammar we can use for it, or whatever factor it has to do, allowed him to destroy it. For God, where he is coming from. Of course, as a city leader, at the point in time, he just not remember anything he did, anything he will remember in an end. He allowed grace to bring him to grass. Hopefully, he will be able to fix this and minister reasonably recognized in that crime and beyond. But it's a lesson for all of us, not just those in leadership. We must respect our women, but we have to be very, very pragmatic. Let them see as it should be so that we don't get ourselves into the Mugabeism of this day. The same thing applies to the women folk. We should not allow the men folk to get them to reign easily. We are all evil incarnate, be it man or woman in relationship. We've got to learn to work for progress and avoid pitfalls easily. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you for opening. I really love the women folk to call in and let them get what they think. Some people have actually said he did not fall from grace to grass. He fall on grace to grass. That's what some people are saying. That Mugabe fell on grace to grass, not from grace to grass. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes,
Good
morning.
morning.
Hello, good morning, Aghemerio. Good morning, Dele.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is Nkadele Mbokwe. Yes, I think, is it, you call it a new down for Zimbabwe. You see, the only thing is that if the economy was doing fine, I'm sure Mugabe will still be there. And maybe if people can say it's okay. Because I don't want to say, okay,
we should be against it as staying long at times. At times there are some benefits in it. Rwanda, Botswana, and some countries are doing very well. They are making African proud now. Go to Rwanda, to Botswana, and one other country. This is Seychelles also. I can't remember now. Their infrastructure now, their infrastructure is can compete with Western countries. Rwanda is supposed to be two terms for a president, but not for the third time. So we can't say somebody like that should go. But the low side of this thing to me is the military being the one that inspired this removal. It would have been very okay if the populace had come out, then military backed them. I think that would have been the good something. But now the low point is that military is the one that inspired this change. Thank you very much.
Well, Yinka, interestingly, you mentioned Rwanda and Burundi as being there with good little people won. But again, you should remember that both Nkurunziza of Burundi and Paul Kagame of Rwanda are now using tyranny to keep themselves in office. There's chief opposition from within, as to they are also going to the group of those presidents, African leaders who are staying too long and becoming unwanted by their people. I don't think so far with events, longevity in office can be accepted or respected by the majority. The economy of Zimbabwe has begun a nosedive for over 15 years, really. So it's been critical in the life of Zimbabweans. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
We have you 0809-868-7344. Good morning.
Oh, good
Good
morning,
morning.
Yes,
Dele.
morning.
Good morning, Aghemerio.
Good morning.
My name is John, calling from Jakarta.
Okay, thank you.
In this thing that has happened, I did not watch because I don't have soda. Even if I have, there was no light. I've learned something from what Dr. Nkoma said. He said, it, all they were telling Mugabe is, we love you, but please go. There was no insult. And I wish Nigerians will also learn at least one good thing from there. Not to be insulting our past leaders. He's a thief. He's so corrupt. He's this, he's that. And we should also learn this one thing. That is what I have to say. Thank you. God bless
All right.
you.
You're welcome.
0909-146. All right. Okay, so it's actually time for us to take the break for the news at 10 to come up. We'll be back after the 10 o'clock news. Bob Nesta Mali for that beautiful one on Africa. You're welcome back. Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM, Citizens Forum. This morning, looking at events in Zimbabwe, one country at a point in time in the 70s where Nigeria was seriously involved in emancipating the people, taking them out of apartheid rule in those days, where money, soldiers, even arms and ammunition were supplied to the South African country. It used to be called Rhodesia before independence in 1980, where since then only one man ruled that country, Robert Mugabe, and that reign ended at about 5 p.m. yesterday when he resigned following pressure and the political crisis that was brewing in that country. Mugabe gone, it is expected that either today in the evening or tomorrow morning, the then vice, Emerson Mnangagwa, will be sworn in as the president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. The involvement of Grace, his wife, was also said to be a key factor in the end of Mugabe, 93, and ruled for 37 years. That's the story so far.
I would go back to pick more calls on Citizens Forum, Rock City 101.9 FM. You can also tweet at Rock City FM at Rock City FM, or you send your message via the short code 32120. Type rock ROCK, then you leave a space. Let's have your thought typed, include your names, then it's a 32120, or use a Facebook fan page Rock City 101.9 FM. Going through the tweet we have here, Olusegun tweeted, ọ̀rọ̀ èèyàn kan ló ń jẹ́ irọ́, wádìí ohun gbogbo lẹ́nu ẹlẹ́rìí méjì. Conductor of many Nigerian police officers are still awkward for international representation. Investigations are mostly done in a shady manner or at times to favor some VIP involved in order to scuttle the case. Or that is still on
The quick take earlier.
But now moving on to onto the Citizens Forum. Kunle Gap tweeted, Mugabe said only God can remove him from power, and thank God that God himself did it without bloodshed. This is a great lesson for all African leaders. Kunle Gap tweeted again, Mugabe, Zimbabwe's issue shows to me that God is at work in Africa. Mugabe will forever be remembered for his right or for his fight for the freedom of his people. Kunle Gap tweeted again, we have a lot to learn in the way the military respectfully handled Mugabe. If it's in Nigeria, he would have been poisoned to pave way for the takeover. Well, that has never happened in Nigeria, actually. Again, our leaders should know that staying too long in power can affect your history. Ismail Mayowa Fadi tweeted, there is someone in the drainage after the first bank towards Onyekolobo. The concerned agency should please respond quickly. All right, the concerned agency, we got a tweet here that there is someone in the drainage after the first bank towards Onyekolobo. So please help us check and help us do something about that quickly.
The authorities of First Bank, Pancheka, I think, can also help.
Do something about it.
Yes, please.
Kunle Gap tweeted, I pray that the country Zimbabwe will experience a turnaround in all areas, especially in the economy for good, in Jesus' name. I'm still coming from Kunle Gap. My question is this, where is grace that brought Mugabe to grass? Okay, grace that brought Mugabe to grass. What happens to Mugabe after now? In all this, I think Mugabe should be celebrated. Simeon tweeted, okay, and okay, that is for another program actually. Ade Dayo also tweeted, what are the criteria they both used? Okay, the both used and what that question is not clear. Eniola Egbekunle tweeted, African leaders always make reference to great Madiba legacy, but none of them can sacrifice for people like him. They are power drunk and greedy. Monigap tweeted, with the love, respect, and honor the Zimbabweans shows for Mugabe yesterday, what do you think would have happened if Mugabe died in house arrest? Eniola Egbekunle tweeted, they value their personal ambition and selfish interest about the lives of several millions in their different nations. And we got this one from Eniola Egbekunle. Mugabe's intention was to rule Zimbabwe for his entire life, but luck ran out on him, as God will always fight for his people. And we got this one from Yumida Vinci. I want to commend the Zimbabwean military leaders for not being part hungry, though I think they should have gone for another interim leader than Mnangagwa, a fresh blood. Okay, and we got this one from Eniola Egbekunle. Mugabe's intention was to rule Zimbabwe for his entire life, but luck ran out on him, as God will always fight for his people. Alright, he tweeted that comment again. We go back to pick more calls, and then we check our Facebook fan page and also the short code to see if we have messages there. But let's go back to 0809 868 7344 or 0909 146 9670. Please.
From Okishupo here in Abeokuta.
Alright, we have you.
The fall of Mugabe. When someone doesn't know when enough is enough, the person will end up in shame. Mugabe had power, he wielded power, and caught by power. He left with ignominy because he wanted to stay put in peace. I wonder what a man of 93 years can still offer. The lesson of the whole scenario is that we should all learn to stop when the ovation is loudest. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, good morning, my sister. Good morning, Dele.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Honorable Larry. I'm calling from the People's Parliament in Abeokuta. Am I on there?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Quite unfortunate. Mugabe started well. Unfortunately, the idea of the woman that came into his life and the own plans to want to relinquish power to the woman was the whole battle of fight idea that I think he had. He did very well initially. I think people love him. It's a lesson for everybody that you should understand that by the time you are there, just make sure that you want to see the when the vision is at its loudest, it's better that way. So I wish the Zimbabweans best of luck. God bless you people over there. God bless Nigeria too.
God bless you too. Hello.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, Aghemerio and Mr. Dele, I'm calling from Basala.
All right.
Mugabe, I want to say good to Mugabe. Mugabe started well, but ended badly. He should have quit the stage when the nation was loudest. The people have said. He will soon sodomy, known as gay marriage then, and the like. Not only that, he derided it and even turned America and our presidency into a laughing stock. He rejected beef from Britain saying it was genetically modified, that is bread. Just at the peak of his success, then he sent white farmers out of his country. Though this may be borderline, that is whether good or bad. But when he started to perpetuate his rulership and even began gearing on it, his trouble started in earnest and festered. This is a good lesson. He should have allowed Morgan Shangarai be instead of forcing me into exile. That was the last straw that broke the camel's back. People don't learn from history. As Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya committed same mistake and failed. The fall of Kenyatta recently should have taught Mugabe a good lesson. He should have stopped his stubbornness and embraced Shangarai. Mugabe is an exercise in obduracy and stubbornness. Now, leaders should learn from example and begin to be sensitive to the voice of reason. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we thank you too.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is calling from Shakon Bantuku.
All right.
Shakon, sorry. Hello, are you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm so happy for this disgrace. I watched that since last week till now, and then you see remain some of Africa's country now, like number one Togo. Yes, you see remain that one. When this man die, Yadima die, his son can't take over. After that one, he go lock him brother to all come and take over. He go lock that him brother for France. Now he not the power. He no one come out from power. Now presidential league seat are turned to a family seat now. Anybody can do anything. He remain Togo. He still remain Togo very soon. He still remain there. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. I'm going through the tweet we have here. Mujabi Gani, you tweeted the process of removal of Mugabe from power is okay. It is legal to illegally remove illegality. Ayemi Da Vinci tweeted, I must also say a big thank you to Robert Mugabe for choosing the lives of Zimbabweans over his ego eventually. Many African leaders would have allowed the country to go to ashes rather than leave. Gaddafi is an example. Igunjobi Ganiyu tweeted, Africans are now getting it right. Let all the African leaders in the shoes of Mugabe get set to go. Okay, Ojutsila. Yemi Da Vinci tweeted, if only Major General Agu and Rossi General Ironside had behaved like Zimbabwe military leader and allowed civilian transition after quelling January 1966 coup, Nigeria would have avoided the civil war. And going to the short codes we have here, what he should have done years ago and be remembered as an icon. The icon he was and national hero. Too bad the greed for power has brought him shame from the people that once honored him. That came from Mike. How are the mighty fallen? Mugabe foolishly abused God's grace, providence, and goodwill of Zimbabweans and allowed his own human wife, called Grace, to finish him disgracefully. Now, leaders in Africa learn lessons, Ayodo from Rwanda. This should serve as a lesson to all leaders that no matter how powerful you are or connections you have got, there is a limit to everything. Mugabe 4 will serve as a stepping stone to other African countries still under dictatorship shackles. Michael sends that message. And we got this one from Pius from Shajay. African leaders are too power conscious. It's long overdue for Mugabe to step down from seat of power. African leaders don't learn from past mistake. It happened to late Muammar Gaddafi, Mobutu Sese Seko, and Idi Amin of Uganda, etc. That's why white men call us all sorts of names. And moving away from that message, this one says, Dele, I disagree with you. Mugabe fell from grace to grass. He was chased out of office after 37 years in power. Zimbabweans were said to have taken to the street jubilating to high heavens for the relief that has come their way. It was a huge fall. Fola Aghemerio sent that. IK from E4. Zimbabwe is a very small country that is not even up to south part of Nigeria. For Mugabe to rule the country for 37 years is not an abomination because he deserves it. He's one of the people that made Zimbabwe whatever it is today. He took the people to the promised land and delivered his mission. IK sent that. And we have this one from
Maybe we
James.
should ask IK, is Zimbabwe at the promised land?
Okay, that's a question. Please, the leftist body is along Pakpai Laru Road. Since yesterday, authorities should help, please. Okay, we got that message from James. Again, a lifeless body is along Pakpai Laru Road since yesterday. All right, those are the messages we have here. You still can send in your own message via the short queue 32120. All you need to do is type rock, ROCK, leave a space, type your message, include a name, send it to 32120, or you tweet at Rock City FM, at Rock City FM. You can also use our Facebook fan page, Rock City 101.9 FM, Rock City 101.9 FM. And when you go back to pick more calls on Citizens Forum Rock City.
Hello.
My name is Aghemerio.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Let me thank both of you for a job well done. Can we consider the role of women, particularly race, and the fact that Mugabe was careless enough and that he has been managing, that's the way to put it. But how can the relationship with the lady now influence him up to the point of planning to plant graves at the helm of us? I hope you know what I'm talking about.
Definitely.
So this is a lesson to other African leaders. In fact, I begin to wonder if that country has a working constitution to keep the head of state in place for decades. So we may need to consider these two aspects, the role of grace and the constitution. In fact, it is in the social media now that when you wish somebody happy birthday, you don't say age on with grace because grace will bring you to grass. Thank you very much. God bless you.
God bless you.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good
Morning.
My name is Alaji Ayodo Power from my side.
How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you, my brother. This Mugabe issue, please let us come back home in Nigeria, not east, west of Nigeria. We have states. Let's just pick states where you will have somebody who serves as a senator, governor, minister, and his wife will go to Senate. The children will be in the rep or this or that. If they have the opportunity, won't they do more than what Mugabe did? Òkété fẹ́ jẹ iyán, odó ni òwò odò, ní ìwọ́nú ihò ẹ̀ o. Tódó bá wọnú ihò òkété, òkété á jẹ iyán o.
0909146 9670.
Hello?
All
We
right,
can
Dele.
hear you. Go on.
About this Mugabe issue, it's very unfortunate. We have people like that even within us here. Close by you see Cameroon, or there, it has been there for a long time now, just like Mugabe. But to me, Mugabe has been, he has done something great for his people. But along the line, he needs to track. I remember those white farmers who possessed their land, and the land was shipped back from them and given to the own indigenous people. I wish I know the Western world we are not happy with. The Australia, the England, and possess those places we are not happy. And we all know since then they have mounted this man out of power. And thank God it's no more there now. With me, I don't know the difference between the right man, the man there now, and Mugabe. The two of them has been there before, working hand in hand. But I congratulate the people of that country. And to me, coming back home here, it's very unfortunate when somebody's in power, people think you're free. Nobody dares to tell you where you are caught, even when you are doing things wrong, because of some personal benefits. We derive. I pray God help us. As you said earlier, we are just lucky. We are just lucky. Some people will tell you that it cannot happen in Nigeria, but it's a lie. We are just lucky. Abacha attempted it, Babangida attempted it, and thank God for the mercy of God that has been in this country. God bless Nigeria and entire Africa. Thank you.
God bless you too. Moving on to the messages we have here. This came from Ayodo Lumide. Dear Dele, answer this question. What is the difference between President Mugabe in power for 37 years and most other governors back home here still trying to force their stooges in position of authority? Okay, Dele, I hope you're not. Are you the guest on the show tonight this morning?
I have no comment.
Kudos to Zimbabwean military for ousted useless. Okay, we won't accept that word, please. Ousted Mugabe without bloodshed. Mugabe's long stayed in office never his fault, but the Zimbabweans. How can a serious country allow one man to rule for decades, not until wanted to install his wife as next president before the eyes open? Such can happen in Nigeria. Such can happen in Nigeria and Patapata 8 years, or such can't happen in Nigeria and Patapata 8 years. As strong as OBJ is then, his third term agenda was dashed. Zimbabweans, okay, we're not going to use those words or those adjectives you have here. Okay, Ade send that message in. Please, when you send it in your message, let's just watch our words. Very, very important. All right, thank you so much for that. We go back to take some of the tweets we have here. And this came from Tunde Judge. Mugabe, the draconian, despotic tyrant, they say the instruments that helps you gain your freedom will someday take it from you. Yemi Da Vinci tweeted, I would advise both MSA Wangangwa and Morgan,
Managangwa,
yes, and Morgan Tsavgari.
Shangarai.
Those names are
Yes, I
nicknames.
know George
All
is
right,
saying Magan
Vangarai,
Shangarai.
yeah, it's Vangarai, not to contest in the next election. Zimbabwe should take a quantum leap and go for a leader under 40 with a strict single-term limit. And Yemi Da Vinci tweeted, I hope Nkurunziza, Kabila, Iyadema, Kagame, and Equatorial Guinea leader are watching. The Arabs have their own spring. The blacks are starting theirs. First, Yahya Jammeh, now Robert Mugabe. Yemi Da Vinci tweeted too, I strenuously disagree with the notion that it was because Grace is a woman. That is why there was backlash. If it was Robert Mugabe's son, there would have still been a backlash. Zimbabweans were tired. One was crying on the BBC yesterday. And Yemi Da Vinci tweeted still, Mr. Dele, I did not hear you talk about when Robert Mugabe lost an election to MDC and refused to leave for Morgan.
Yeah, that was 2012 or so. But of course, the Supreme Court, it went on and what, and then he was still able to. It was a disputed election, really contested. The electoral body said he lost, but they went to court. And like I said, except you are within the war veteran group, it's a very strong clique. in Southern Africa, very, very strong. You will not be able to break the form. Just like I assume, it will be very difficult for anybody outside ANC to win a major presidential election in South Africa itself. Yes, it was true at the point in time, 2012 or 8 or so. That was, you were right. But then, of course, the Supreme Court and other forces overturned that.
Moving on, still we pick more calls. 08098687344 or 0909146.
Tangarai, and you see, the MDC of Morgan Tada, that's the Movement for Democratic Change in Zimbabwe. That was the main political opposition group in Black. But immediately after that election, they fell into tatters. Remember, Tanga himself was expelled from the party, went and formed another political party. He was accused of so many things, including non-qualification that he did not, it was a fake certificate that he was carrying about, even embezzlement and all sorts. So, till today, there's no question, there's no political party you can say is strong to challenge the ZANU-PF. So opposition remains within ZANU-PF. I remember as soon as Mnangagwa was sent away, the first statement he said is he will return to Zimbabwe to lead.
That was what he said.
That's what he said. So he was so sure of what was happening. He knew the veteran, the army would never back a civilian, so to say. And he was very sure that. So that was the statement, and it's turning out to be a prophecy today. So, like I always say, every country should have its own grown ideology, policy, and democratic shape. The Zimbabweans believe strongly that MDC, that's the party of Morgan, was being financed, supported by UK, which was their appetite lords. And remember too that when the issue, which will have destroyed Mugabe and ZANU-PF, the issue of the white farmers, it was the war veterans that went to implement it. It was not police, it was not army. They were the one, as soon as that was signed into law, they swept on all the farms. They were the one who shared the farms themselves. They took over the farms, drove away those white farmers. So that's their system. It's been entrenched, and it must also be looked into when you are talking about politics and events in Zimbabwe. Okay, let's go back to the calls.
Hello.
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 My sister, Dele is Caldi.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you will give me opportunity to talk. Should I go on?
Within 2 minutes, sir. That's the rule.
Thank you, I'll do that. Thank you. Zimbabwe, the rise and fall of Mugabe, Gabriel Robert. You see, it started well and ended badly. When there's a sign like this, the things that are pointed to this effect is the fact that women or people that are on your side that are giving you or offering you bad opinion. Let me tell you, it is for you to be, you as a leader, to think independently of God. Are you with me? You must be able to know what God has for you. Do the will of God, then allow for yourself to be a true leader a true leader in total. Not somebody that will say this and then not do it and then probably being a smartless. You see, you need to ignore any opinion that is negative, just like what is happening now around us. You need to probably weigh the value of all inputs and then make your own decision, good decision that will not probably do away with looking at the rights of the people. You see, most often we see what is happening in Zimbabwe now as economic collapse and then all sorts of people not enjoying their life any longer. International isolation was also part of what is happening there. Depression all around. And it's also happening in all virtually of Nigerian states now, where leaders don't pay deductions, they put deductions in their own purses, where they don't even see the rights of the people that have probably put on 37 or 35 years in service. They are treating them. Look, I wonder what we call leadership at all in Nigeria. You see, some of them, you refuse to answer the question I raised now, and you are laughing. I look at it as if you are not giving us opportunity to know from you as a journalist what's your take on the question I threw to you. But unfortunately, we don't have any leader now in Nigeria except Buhari that I see as one. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Kade, for also alleging, accusing me. The truth is, I'm not supposed to express myself. What I say are facts on ground, things that are already there that everybody should have known. So, not my own opinion. Thank you, Kade. Maybe some other time I may respond to your question.
Hello.
I'm using, like the American would say, my right of silence. Mhm.
Hello.
Hello, morning, sir.
Yeah, you have Benson at the I'm calling from Ijakot this morning as usual.
Thank you, Chief Benson.
Yeah, the issue of Robert Mugabe is just a classical example of what we all do in Africa. And I will not blame Africa, our African leaders, people like Mugabe, but I rather blame the Western imperialists who came here to take away our culture, to take away our religion, take away our way of life and every our religion. And that is why we find ourselves practicing democracy that doesn't work anywhere in Africa. We have to go back to the drawing board and invent the kind of government that can work for the masses of our nation in Africa. Democracy will never work in Nigeria. I've always said it.
So what do we have now?
In Morocco.
What do we have now?
What we have now is a good democracy. Is it working? Once a gang of less than 1% of the population will hijack the resources of a country like Nigeria and appropriate it to their cronies, added together they are less than 2%. Whereas go to Morocco, I've been to Morocco, I've been to Middle East, where you have monarchy. I've been to Britain, I've been to several countries where you have monarchical system of God. Nigerians took there to go and live and enjoy their life. And people here, they pretend like ostrich and say democracy is good. Democracy is not good for us in Africa. We have to reinvent what we were doing those days to govern our people. I'm not advocating for very ultra monarchy. Go to Saudi Arabia, copy what go to Spain today, go to Belgium, go to several countries in Europe and even North Africa. They practice monarchy, democracy, but they can be controlled. Look at Nigeria, you are practicing democracy, our traditional rulers, they have no role. They cannot even summon any political office holder to account for the budget of their area, even at the local government level. And the chairman will take the money and take it to Dubai and leave the others unpaid, will leave his workers unpaid and other things. And you say it's a democracy. This is not democracy that can save us in Africa. We have to go back to the drawing board and invent the way we want to govern ourselves. And that's why I cherish Mugabe. He refused to succumb to the will and caprices of the West until he was removed. The same they did to Gaddafi today. Gaddafi remains our hero now, even though he's not a democratic leader, but he's a hero up to today.
Thank you. I just want to call more, just one.
Hello.
Hello again. Good morning, my people.
Morning.
Jimo
No, you had your opportunity, Jimo Akero. We thank you. You had your chance. Let's give somebody else.
Hello.
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 Hello, you are on. Morning.
Yeah. And this one says that I strenuously disagree with the notion that it was. Okay, moving on to this is Yemi Da Vinci. Mr. Dele, I did not hear you talk about when Robert Mugabe lost an election to MDC. Message earlier. Today, Judge tweeted again, Mugabe, like King Saul in the Bible, he started well but ended up on a sad note. He ended up on a sad note. And we have this message on the short code, IK from E4. Please, Mr. Dele, I need to hear more on this issue. Don't you think that this is a polity. Why now after he sacked his vice? Okay, don't you think that this is a politic or this is politics? Why now after he sacked his vice?
We've talked about that. It's politics, of course. If Grace, who is believed or who is not a war veteran, was not in the picture of ascendancy, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
And this tweet came from Adi from Abeokuta. Zimbabwean military has been so magnanimous to the core. If not, Mugabe deserves to be crushed with force and disgraced out of office. He doesn't deserve the respect at all. How can somebody stick to governance for decades when it is not a family title? It is only kings that rule until death, not a president. He refused to learn from Idi Amin of Uganda downfall. Good for him. And this came from Wali Aziz. The Zimbabwean allowed his tenure for long, where the parliament, electorate, and the rest when it lasted. Watch out about events in the next years. Many families have taken over in Nigeria, changing like chameleons since 1966. We pick just one more call and then we wrap things up. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
We have you. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear
Good
you.
morning.
Good morning.
I am okay from Ayodo. Now, what happened to Zimbabwe is now, and despite the fact that the man was just that, yes, the people respect him, and then the military in Nigeria, they actually learned from what happened in Zimbabwe. Then, what is the difference between Mugabe and Buhari who ruled as a military and government back
There are a
as
lot of
a democrat?
difference.
Is
A
it what?
lot.
Then,
A lot, sir.
Obasanjo who ruled as a military and coming back as
There's so much
civilian.
difference between
And
them.
what about the third-term agenda? Now, the issue of staying on to power has become a tradition in Africa. In which all countries should actually have a look into. They should actually have a specified tenor. South Africa, maybe at the AU meeting or what have you. I think they should deliberate on this. And then in
All right.
Nigeria is the home of English, where you manufacture the spirit of adjectives to qualify Mugabe. Seeing Mugabe as banking,
Alright, we will not be
uh,
able to go beyond this point. MOK, we appreciate you for your contribution. So,
Good morning. Thank you. We have this message from Cosmos. It says Zimbabweans should move beyond Mugabe to rebuild the country, which compared with South Africa is a tale of two cities. No nation is an island in a universal and cosmopolitan world. Revolution should not be overstretched. Adieu, strongman Mugabe, Cosmos People Center from Abeokuta. Those are the messages we have here.
and that will be it for the day. We appreciate everybody who joined us. Let us draw a lesson or the other from all we've said this morning. Dele Ayodo is my name. I say God bless you all. God bless Nigeria and God bless Rock City.